So what I am going to do is notice that things are in one big area, and they're going to go in the same direction as the gradient that we've already done. So all I am going to do is come over, and I'm going to switch those colors just so we can see them. I want a white. I'm going to switch this over to some sort of a lighter gray, and then I'm going to come up to the top. I want to drop down to where it says pixelate. I want to do a color halftone, and I'm going to keep the max radius at 8, and then I'm going to change all of those channels to 128. So I'm pretty much removing the color aspect of the color halftone. So when I click on OK, I will now have just a halftone. So what we get to do, and this is still a live working effect, which is really, really cool, is I can mess around with the size, the direction. I can mess around with all of this. So since we have a pretty light gray, I can mess around with that and just notice that the size changes. I usually don't go too big. Let's just go right there with it. But I can change, how far over the halftone goes. Notice that as I do this, that those sizes change, which is pretty fun. So I can move that over. Let's say if I want this to not necessarily start by the highlight, so if I want our highlights to be pretty clean, I can always move that gradient, and then just notice that that is in fact affecting the halftone. So at this point, it is one of, if I just click on effect, just notice that it is in a Photoshop effect. So we need to bring it back into the world of the vectors. So let's do that. So I'm going to come up to the top where it says Object. I'm going to expand Appearance, and then notice that Image Trace pops back in. So I am going to click on Image Trace. It is going to get stupid ugly. So what we want to do is look for the Image Trace panel. If you have the advanced options, you want to click that. So I want to ignore white. I want to snap curves lines. I want that off. I want a lot of noise. So as soon as I do that, just notice that a lot of those little guys are going to pop back in. Corners. And then I get to mess around with our threshold. So now I get to see how far over I can drag this. I'm just looking over here to see if I can get all of... So this is just trial and error for the most part right now. Alright, that looks okay. So I'm going to click on Expand. And I want, while they're still selected, I want those to... Oh, they're orange, so let's just go dark orange. So I can have the orange going across.